Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Brian, and how are you doing today? And as you know, I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And I'm going to listen to some of your pronunciation and speaking practice today. You said here, you say, I've completed all the lessons of your pronunciation. Should I do the pretest pronunciation again? I'm going to say no, don't worry about that. You say, about my independent speaking, I always write before what I'm going to say. I check the grammar, language use, and so on, but I spend approximately 30 minutes. Should I start practicing your test about speaking spontaneously? Whenever you feel ready, Brian. I had somebody who did what you did, but she would spend 50 minutes on preparing her speaking, and then she would post it for me. She did that for 2 months, and then she took the TOEFL and got 28 on the speaking. So what does that tell you? It means that as you're practicing and checking the grammar and the language use and so on, as you're doing this and spending all this time, you're making the vocabulary and the grammar part of your speech. So you'll become more and more natural. If you want to do this, I know you're sending me up to 3 speaking practice tests each day. Maybe one of those, if you want, can be spontaneous, but don't tell me which one, right? And 2 of them you can do like you're doing now. But I think spending extra time like this is very good for you, and it will make English more and more natural to you in the long run. So those are my comments on that. Okay, so let's hear. So you're practicing here the P and the B consonant sounds. Let's hear how you did this.
The pain can be a shooting pain, a burning pain, or even an extremely piercing pain.
Say the word extremely. Extremely piercing pain. So the word extremely you didn't quite pronounce correctly, but you're doing a good job on the P and the B consonant sounds, and it's sounding more natural, by the way.
Capsule is a container that is filled with audio that show important things about the way people live in a certain time and place.
Good, perfect.
Insulin has already been made by incorporating genetic material into bacteria, the cultures of which have become synthesizers of insulin.
Good. And then the word synthesizers. Synthesizers of insulin.
Laboratory researchers in Europe demonstrated that Greek parrots could learn the kinds of symbolic and conceptual tags that are generally considered as prerequisites for complex cognitive and communicative skills.
Okay, perfect.
Vampire bats can move side.
Say vampire. Vampire bats.
Side and backward, similar to a spider. Instead of taking off in flight from the ground, these bats actually launch themselves into the air with powerful pectoral muscles.
Good. And good on the tone. I like that. You're remembering a lot of what I'm telling you when you're putting together your thought groups. On the thought groups before the final thought group, you're making the tone a half pitch higher at the end of each of those thought groups. When you get to the end of your sentence, that's when you're dropping your intonation or your tone a little bit. All right, so very good on that exercise. Okay, now we're going to speak clearly lesson number 48. Let's see what we have.
There are 3 readings. Reading passage 1.
Okay, so let me find this. Let me go to my website here just quickly. Okay, let's see what we have. Let me go down to lesson number 48. Wow, you completed all of the pronunciation lessons in my online TOEFL course. Now, if anybody's watching this video from YouTube, you can probably tell that Brian has pretty clear pronunciation. How did he do that? He has been practicing. That's exactly how he did that. Okay, so now let me take a look at these reading passages here, and I'll give you some feedback on this.
There are three readings. Reading passage 1. When two people are talking to each other, they take to stand a specific distance apart, space than in other cultures. Therefore, if you try to get too close to them...
The problem is the word distance. You're saying distance, not distance. So it's that vowel sound you have to be a little bit careful about. Let's keep going.
There are three readings. Reading passage 1. When two people are talking to each other, they take to stand a specific distance apart. Each person has an invisible boundary around his or her body into which other people may not come.
Okay.
If someone pierces this boundary...
And that's actually pierces, 3 syllables, pierces this boundary.
She or he will feel uncomfortable and move away to increase the distance between them. The major section is family member and other loved ones. This personal distance is not due to body odor between them. The major section is family member and other loved ones.
Family members. Notice how you didn't put the S on one of the nouns there. So family members and other loved ones.
This personal distance is not due to body odor or bad breath, but because closeness lends a sense of intimacy that is at odds with the relationship to the other individual.
Okay.
Reading passage 2. Interestingly, the average personal distance varies from culture to culture. Americans tend to require more personal space than in other cultures. Therefore, if you try to get too close to an American during your conversation, he or she will feel that you are in his face and will try to back away. Try to be aware of this, so if the person to whom you are speaking backs away a little, don't try to close the gap.
Okay, pretty good there. You read that fairly smoothly. Didn't notice any major problems there.
Reading passage 3. Also, try to avoid physical contact while you are speaking, since this may also lead to discomfort.
This may also lead to discomfort. So may lead. So lead, if you're using past, I would say let. But it says may lead, so lead needs to be in the base form, so pronounce it as E. Lead.
Touching is a bit too intimate for casual acquaintance.
You want to say acquaintances. So grammatical word endings is something that you're still having trouble with. I'll talk to you about this in a minute.
So don't put your arm around his or her shoulder. Don't touch his or her face or hold his or her hand. Shaking hands when you initially meet or part is acceptable, but this is only momentary.
Okay, so the question here is pretty simple. Can we go back? Okay, so in terms of the comments, let's go over to my online TOEFL course to the pronunciation section. So I think overall you've made a lot of progress. You've done very well. I want you to look at just a couple more lessons you can record for me. Let's go over to the first one is lesson number 11. So you still have not mastered the beat, bit vowel sounds, those 2 vowel sounds. For example, the word instances, not instances, but instances. So you can work on that sound. And also, if you go to the second part of my pronunciation course, Speak Clear lesson number 26, 27, and 28. The grammatical word endings thing. Sometimes you're not putting the S on the end of a word, or you're not sure when you put the S on the word when you need to create a new syllable. So that's something that you can do there. So here's what I would do. So you don't need to repeat my pronunciation course, but maybe review those lessons I just pointed out. I think that would be good. Now what you can do for your speaking practice is maybe one of what you do is you might take a newspaper article, maybe from the newspaper, and take a paragraph and read and record that, and then make sure that you copy and paste the paragraph into the email for me so I can see what you're saying and give you some feedback there. So I would still continue to do delivery practice. Keep doing at least 1/3 of your time right now doing the delivery practice, and then the 2/3 of your time during the TOEFL speaking. Then with the TOEFL speaking, you can continue to take up to 30 minutes to get one of your speaking responses planned, written, edited, and so on. And then maybe one of them you can do it without any preparation at all. You can do it more spontaneously like you have to do for the TOEFL exam, and I can give you feedback accordingly. Does that make sense? All right, I think we got it. So I just listened to these and I just answered your questions, and I look forward to hearing from you again. All right, happy holidays to you.